Hello students, this is a match the column type of question. List 1 is given to you, list 2 is given to you, and corresponding to that 4 options are given to you. We have to match which of the entries in list 1 matches to entries in list 2. The given information is E1 is a set given to you. For this contains the values of x belonging to R for which x upon x minus 1 is greater than 0. E2 is the set which contains the values of x belonging to E1 for which sine inverse log of x upon x minus 1 is a real number. If you pay attention to this function f of x, which is defined from E1 to R, that is log of this x upon x minus 1, and E2 is sine inverse of log of x upon x minus 1, then you will realize that these are mentioned only to ensure that this function is defined and this function is defined, that is, it can be calculated mathematically. Now let's see what is there in the entries: range of f, range of g, domain of f, domain of g. So two functions are given to us. We have to find their domain and range. Let's see, and let's do it systematically. Forget about the entries. Let's find the domain, which is the entry R in the list 1. Domain of f of x function is this one, log of x upon x minus 1. We know it very clearly that for this function to be defined, x upon x minus 1 should be greater than 0, and that is very easily obtained by using wavy curve method. 0 and 1 are not to be included. On this side it will be positive, negative and positive. So this inequality is satisfied for x belonging to minus infinity to 0 interval and union 1 to infinity. And pay attention here that it says the domain of f contains. Let's check which of the intervals are subinterval of this solution domain. So minus infinity to minus 1 by e, that 1 upon 1 minus e, that will be a negative quantity, and e upon e minus 1, that will be a positive quantity. That means this interval is actually covering this part. So obviously this is a subset of this one. So R matches to 1, we can say that. And since we have to mark the option, we will be solving all the parts, but let's go through the options. R is equal to 1. R is equal to 1, that means this one or this one must be the correct answer. Let's check other entries also. Now let's find the range of f, that is entry P. Range of f, that will be f of x is equal to log of, or better write ln x upon x minus 1. We can write it as ln x minus 1 plus 1 upon x minus 1, and that is ln of 1 plus 1 upon x minus 1. And now if we plot the graph of this function, that can be easily done. 1 by x shifted to 1 unit towards the positive direction of x-axis and then shifted up. So the function inside this log, that is parameter of this function, that will be shifted 1 unit above x-axis, 1 unit on the right, and 1 by x. And at x is equal to 0, this is equal to 0. So it will be going through this. This is y is equal to 1 plus 1 upon x minus 1. Now clearly the log function is defined only when this quantity inside the bracket, this one, is positive. So we have already decided that minus infinity to 0 and 1 to infinity, that is the domain. That means this part, this output, that will be the input for log function. So input for the log function, that is this quantity, is varying. You can see it is going up to infinity over here, and except for missing out the value 1, it is obtaining all the values between 0 and 1 also. That means this quantity is going from 0 to 1 union 1 to infinity. That means inside the log expression, we are able to get all the inputs varying from 0 to infinity except for 1. And corresponding to that, log 1, that is 0, that value will be missing, otherwise its range that will be same as the log function. So the range that will be from minus infinity to 0 union 0 to infinity. And here the range of f is, it is not asked, it contains, just like the previous entry. So this must be matching perfectly to 4. So entry P matches to 4. Let's again check the options. P matches to 4 in both the probable cases we have chosen. Let's go through the third entry. Domain of G. G function is defined like this: sine inverse of log of x upon x minus 1. Domain, for that function to be defined, we need log of x upon x minus 1 to the base e. This should be lying between 1 and minus 1. Other than that, the quantity inside the log, that should be positive. So x upon x minus 1, that should be greater than 0. We have already solved this inequality. This gives us the restriction that x belongs to minus infinity to 0 union 1 to infinity. This we have already taken care. Now this one, this means log of x upon x minus 1 should be less than or equal to log of e to the base e, here also the base e, and here log of 1 by e to the base e. Log is an increasing function, that implies 1 by e greater than, less than or equal to x upon x minus 1 and less than or equal to e. Now this will give us two sets of inequalities. One, this one, x upon x minus 1 minus 1 upon e greater than or equal to 0, and this part that will give us x upon x minus 1 minus e, and that should be less than or equal to 0. Let's solve the first one. This is ex minus x plus 1 divided by e into x minus 1 greater than or equal to 0, and that means x into e minus 1 plus 1 divided by e into x minus 1, this should be greater than 0. And this one, that will give us x minus ex plus e divided by x minus 1 less than equal to 0, and this can be written as x into 1 minus e plus e divided by x minus 1 less than or equal to 0. Now solve each of them individually, this one and this one. That can be easily done on the number line using the wavy curve method, and take intersection of that. That intersection will give you the domain of this g function as x belonging to minus infinity to 1 upon 1 minus e union e upon e minus 1 to infinity. That is the entry 1. So S, that will match to entry 1. So S matches to 1. Hopefully we should be able to mark the answer now, as the options are given to us. But let's take the fourth part also. That is, the range of G contains. This contains. Now G function sine inverse log of x upon x minus 1. We have already calculated the range of this function. Log of x upon x minus 1, the range was this one, minus infinity to 0 and 0 to infinity. So minus infinity to 0 and 0 to infinity, That means if x is not restricted, then this function log of x upon x minus 1 will end up giving us all the real values except for 0. Now, this restriction and this restriction ensures that, and the domain restriction, that is this one and this one, that ensures that we are able to get all the values in between -1 and +1 only, but we won't be getting 0 inside this sine inverse function. That means range for this is going to be -π/2 to +π/2, close bracket, -0. 0 will not be there. Now we have to find the interval which are subinterval of this one. So -π/2 to +π/2, π/2 is something 1.57, and -π/2 to π/2, definitely it will contain this one, 0 to 1, that is q matches to 2. And let's check other entries also. This -1/2 to +1/2, that contains 0, so it won't be a subset. You can check other entries also, only this one will be correctly matching. So we have got all the entries matching correctly: q to 2, s to 1, p to 4, and r to 1. Let's check the answer. That is okay. P to 4, q to 2, r to 1, s to 1. So we have got all the entries matched correctly. Thank you.